Welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Today we are looking at part one of a story called The Cowherd and the Weaver Girl.
Yes, and this is a very old story that is kind of probably, I think a lot of you have already heard about it because it is an ancient Chinese story that you've probably heard at some point in your life. And it's kind of describes something that happens in the world. And this is something that is true of many, many, many different cultures, especially a long time ago when things were happening in the world, different phenomena that they didn't quite know how to explain. A lot of times, stories and myths and legends got told for why does the sun come up? Why does the moon come up? Why does the moon change its different phases? All these types of things before they usually made interesting stories to explain why these things happened.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of things in the sky, and that is often things that were hard to explain before, people had enough science and enough scientific tools to figure out why those things were happening, or even, why weather changes or why there's thunder sometimes. These are all things that people have made stories to explain why these are happening.
Yes, and so this story also is similar in that idea because it also does talk about something that happens in the sky. And so they probably saw this in the sky and that kind of turned into this story. But let's not spoil the ending too much, and we'll go ahead and start reading The Cowherd and the Weaver Girl, and this is going to be part one.
Niulong was a cowherd, and his only friend was an old ox. One night, Niulong sat with his friend. He said,
"I feel so lonely. I wish I had another human friend."
Suddenly, the ox answered,
"Go to the pond tomorrow night. Heavenly maidens will come play there. Wait by their clothes, and you'll have a chance to meet them."
Okay, so we are looking at part one of our story, The Cowherd and the Weaver Girl. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what it's all about. Niulong was a cowherd and his only friend was an old ox. Okay, so we're starting this story. We've got a character. Well, we've got two characters. We have a cowherd and an old ox. So a cowherd is just a person who takes care of cows and kind of helps keep them all together and works on a farm and all that. And so he has an old ox as a friend. And an ox is just a male cow, so we don't use them for milk or anything like that. Instead, they're used for pulling like a big plow that you might use for farming, or you might use a few of them and attach maybe a carriage or something to it and help pull a cart or a wagon or anything like that. So mostly used for heavy work on a farm.
One night, Niulong sat with his friend. Okay, so he's sitting with his friend who is an ox. So his only friend that he can talk to is an ox.
Yes, and so he says, probably rightly so, he said, "I feel so lonely. I wish I had another human friend." So he's feeling kind of lonely, just him and the ox.
Well, that's not very nice to say to his ox friend. He should be happy with his friend's company. But so he feels lonely. Lonely is an adjective that means that someone feels sad, feels sadness because they are alone. Maybe because they don't have friends, they don't have family, they don't have other people with them. So they feel alone and they feel bad about being alone and usually are sad because they are alone.
Yes, and so in the sentence it said that he wished he had another human friend. So using human here as an adjective, it just means a friend that is a person, that is a human. Obviously he has an ox friend, but he wishes that he had another friend that was like himself and that was also a human. So he wishes he had a friend that was a human.
All right, let's go to Tina.
Hello, I'm Tina. 我们今天来聊聊牛郎跟织女的故事哦。牛郎是个牧牛人，他唯一的朋友是一头老牛。有一天晚上，牛郎和老牛坐在一起，说道：“我觉得好孤单，真希望能有另一个人类朋友哦。”我们来看看单字 ox， 名词公牛，它的复数形式是 oxen。The old farm doesn't use machines. It still uses oxen. 那座老农场不用机器，仍然用牛来耕作。Lonely， 形容词，孤单的。At first, Tom felt lonely in the new school. 一开始 Tom 在新学校觉得很孤单。Human， 形容词，人类的。Human eyes cannot see in total darkness. 人类的眼睛在完全黑暗中是看不见的。接着回到课文当中。
All right, thanks, Tina. So just before we went to Tina, Niulang said he wished he had a human friend. Well, suddenly the ox answered, "Go to the pond tomorrow night."
Well, that seems like that would be quite shocking if you were Niulang. And so, again, this is a story. This is like in this idea of fables and myths and legends. And so a talking ox, maybe not so surprising. If that really happened to somebody, they might run away from the ox and freak out. But here, it's just like, oh, okay.
But I feel like if he's been lonely and wanting someone to talk to, why hasn't the ox spoken up before? And then maybe he wouldn't be so lonely.
What kind of a friend is that
Right.
he just sat there quiet this whole time? Anyway, back to the story. It says, heavenly maidens will come play there. So the ox is saying, go to this place and you will see some maidens that come from the heavens and they came down to earth to play there.
So the ox continues, wait by their clothes and you'll have a chance to meet them.
Okay, well, that makes sense. If they're going to go play in the water and they don't want to get their clothes wet, if you're kind of by their clothes, then they have to come back eventually to get their clothes. So then you'd have a chance to meet and talk to them.
Okay, so he's going to have a chance to meet some people, some human friends maybe. We'll have to find out after we go to Tina.
突然，老牛回答：“明天晚上去池塘边，仙女们会到那里玩，在他们的衣裳旁等着，你就有机会认识他们。”我们来看看文法 ，come play 来玩，这是一个口语用法，它是 come and 加动词简化而来的。举例来说 ，come have dinner with us， 你也可以说 come and have dinner with us， 来跟我们一起吃晚餐吧。Somebody has a chance to 加动词，某人有机会做某事。Chance 是机会、机遇。比如说 ，Nina has a chance to study abroad next year. Nina 明年有机会出国留学。接着我们回到课文当中。
All right, so we kind of have the setup to our story. He knows where he needs to go if he'd like to make some human friends. So let's go to the second part and see if it works out.
Niulang couldn't believe his ears. He tried asking some questions, but the ox was silent. Niulang trusted his friend, so he went to the pond the next night.
All right, welcome back. So Niulang just listened to his ox tell him to go to this pond to see heavenly maidens and to wait by their clothes so he could meet them. So Niulang couldn't believe his ears. Okay, so what does that mean? He can't believe his ears. Well, that just means he's hearing something that is so unbelievable, so outrageous that he can't believe it. What the ox has told him, he's not sure if that could be true or not. He doesn't know whether to believe what he's hearing, so we often say that you can't believe your ears.
I feel like in this case, he's saying he can't believe his ears that there might be heavenly maidens. But he also probably could say he can't believe his ears that the ox is talking to him, because that would also be very shocking and be like, wait a second, am I really hearing this? So anyway, we continue on with our story, and it says, he tried asking some questions, but the ox was silent. So apparently the ox only decided to talk one time, and then he was done and didn't want to be his friend anymore.
All the ox had to say, so a few sentences. Yeah, so now Niulang's alone again. All right. Niulang trusted his friend, so he went to the pond the next night.
Okay, so he does end up going to the pond. He is going to believe what he said, because we use this word trust, this verb trust. If he trusts somebody, or if you trust somebody, it means that you believe what they say. You think that what they say is correct, or that they are being honest, and they're not trying to trick you. So he doesn't think that the ox is trying to trick him into some trap or something like that. He really believes and he really trusts that this is going to happen. So he decides to go to the pond.
All right, let's check in with Tina.
牛郎无法置信亲耳所听到的，他试着问几个问题，但老牛不发一语。牛郎相信老牛，于是隔天晚上去了池塘边。我们来看看单字 trust， 动词信任。It's hard to trust someone new。要信任一个新认识的人很困难。文法的部分刚刚提到了 somebody can't believe one's ears。某人不敢相信亲耳所听到的。比如说 Eddie couldn't believe his ears when the teacher praised him。当老师称赞 Eddie 时，他不敢相信他所听到的。我们可以用 eyes 来替换 ears 来表达难以置信、亲眼所见。比如说 I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the view。我看到那景色时，简直不敢相信自己的眼睛。接着我们回到课文当中。
All right, so we are back. So we've kind of got our setup of our story. We have our characters. We know that Niulang decided, yes, I believe that the ox is telling me the truth, that he really does say, like, there is going to be people or heavenly maidens that come to this pond. So he decides to do that. But now we have to figure out, we have to read the rest of it and see what actually happens. Is he going to actually meet anybody? Or are they even going to show up?
Yeah, if I were him, I wouldn't have trusted the ox, because I would have just assumed that something was wrong with my brain if I thought an ox was talking to me, and then when I tried to confirm anything, he wouldn't talk anymore. I would just think maybe I was dreaming, maybe I ate something that didn't settle well in my stomach and made my brain do weird things. But yes, I wouldn't be as easy to trust this ox, but
yes,
I guess we'll see what happens when you trust an ox. So
That's why it's a legend or a story and not real life for us. Because yes, I agree. I would just be like, oh, that was weird. I think I'm going to just go home and sleep.
All right, well, let's review this story again, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Niulang was a cowherd, and his only friend was an old ox. One night, Niulang sat with his friend. He said,
I feel so lonely. I wish I had another human friend.
Suddenly, the ox answered,
Go to the pond tomorrow night. Heavenly maidens will come play there. Wait by their clothes, and you'll have a chance to meet them.
Niulang couldn't believe his ears. He tried asking some questions, but the ox was silent. Niulang trusted his friend, so he went to the pond the next night.
最后我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分 ox 名词公牛， lonely 形容词孤单的， human 形容词人类的， trust 动词信任。文法的部分我们学到了 come play 来玩，它是由 come and 加上动词简化而来的。Come see what we got from Aunt Lily， 你也可以说 come and see what we got from Aunt Lily。来看看 Lily 阿姨送了我们什么。 Somebody has a chance to 加动词，某人有机会做某事。Jerry has a chance to move up in the company. Jerry 在公司有升迁的机会。Somebody can't believe one's ears. 某人不敢相信亲耳所听到的。Sherry couldn't believe her ears when she heard the news. Sherry 听到那个消息时感到难以置信。我们可以用 eyes 来替换 ears 来表达难以置信、亲眼所见。I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Amy's new haircut. 当我看到 Amy 的新发型时，简直不敢相信自己的眼睛。以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
You'll not believe how annoyed I am this morning. I was on my way to work and I got caught behind this Sunday driver. Oh, I was about to lose my mind.
Sunday driver? But today isn't a Sunday.
No, it just means a driver who drives really slowly or has like really terrible skill.
I got it. Well, that does sound very annoying, especially when you're trying to get to work.
It was really annoying and I was so frustrated. Honking my horn at him didn't even help. And I was here like 10 minutes late.
Well, at least you made it. That counts for something, right?
Hey everyone! Today we'll be discussing the phrase Sunday driver.
That's right. It refers to someone who drives very slowly or isn't very skilled at driving.
The idea comes from relaxed Sunday drives when people take their time instead of rushing to work on a weekday.
Exactly. That's why we call someone a Sunday driver if they move at an unhurried or overly cautious pace on the road.
For example, we got stuck behind a Sunday driver going 30 on the highway.
Or I was late to an appointment because a Sunday driver was crawling along in front of me.
So next time you hear someone use the term Sunday driver, they're probably complaining about a slow or inexperienced driver.
Exactly. And that's all for today.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.